Indeed, India correspondent Akshay Dongre is joining us live from New Delhi with more. Akshay, how do you read Trump's nuclear posturing against Russia?
Well, to maintain a more diplomatic language over this incident, we can say that the incident and the way Donald Trump has reacted seems nothing short of a tantrum by a senior world leader, a nuclear tantrum. Now, this is perhaps one of the most dangerous turn the relation between Russia and US have taken in the recent decades, ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union, where at the presidential levels, direct talks of nuclear usage and deployment are taking place. It's somewhat similar to the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the Soviets had deployed their nuclear weapons in Cuba, whereas in retaliation, the U.S. had deployed their nuclear arsenal in other European countries. The situation is quite critical as far as the deployment of two nuclear submarines are concerned near Russia. It can be seen as a major provocation by the Moscow as well. It's quite a controversial story, and we'll have to keep an eye on how the entire situation escalates, given the fact that the two world leaders not only have gotten involved in childish exchanges on social media, but also acting on those childish exchanges involving their country's nuclear deterrence capabilities into the picture. So the situation is quite tragic, and it's actually concerning for the rest of the world, especially to those countries where these major global powers have, implemented nuclear restrictions, haven't allowed them to create nuclear weapons, of stating that the smaller countries can be unstable and they can, in a crisis situation, use these nuclear weapons that are only for deterrence capabilities. But what are the major powers doing? They're also getting involved in childish, exchanges on social media, and as a result, threatening a
Okay.
nuclear war for the rest of the world.
And earlier, the US president had cut short the deadline for Russia to make peace with Ukraine. Akshay, what is the latest on that?
Well, as far as the deadline to conclude the talks are concerned between Russia and Ukraine, the U.S. president will have to understand that this conflict that has erupted has its roots in centuries old differences as far as the history of the Russian people are concerned and the people of Ukraine are concerned. So it's a very complicated thing. It's a complex thing, and any U.S. president sitting thousands of miles away cannot bulldoze his way as far as the peace is concerned. Many of the people have died from both sides. There are objectives from both the sides. So it's dialogue and diplomacy, and probably trying to understand the concerns of Russia as well that have to be addressed to ensure that entire thing comes to a halt. Besides doing that, besides promoting the two countries to have dialogue in a consistent manner, threatening with nuclear weapons is never going to solve a problem. It can probably suppress the issue for a short while, but it's not going to solve the situation anytime soon.
Akshay, thank you for joining us with those inputs.